We are on chapter 8, retake. In my first period class, ladies, in my first period class, we got through we almost finished number 10. They were walking out the door when I was doing that. So let's do number 10, and then we'll go through the rest. All right, so look at number 10. It says find the perimeter of the square, length of diagonal. Okay, so this is the retake. Yes, I'm doing the retake. Well, that's the ones I'm going over. I can't go over both versions of it. So if you didn't take the retake, it probably meant you did okay anyway, and you probably don't have any problems with this. Would you agree? Yes.
I heard that your finals are copy and paste from other tests.
That's what other people have told me.
Is that right? Well, okay, you can believe them if you want. What am I doing? Let's try this again. Oh, it was probably because it's white. White on white's not gonna show up, is it? Alright, let's pay attention, please. Look at this. It says, let's see, the perimeter of a square, if the length of a diagonal is 16, so here would be a diagonal of that square. Everybody see that? I'll make it a little bit bigger. Here we go. Is that better? Okay, so, and we are trying to find, what are we trying to find? The perimeter, the perimeter of the square. Okay, so what we have to do, it's a square, so we got to find the all four lengths. Basically, if you just find one length multiplied by 4, and you're good to go. So if it's a square and you have a diagonal, what does that diagonal do to the square? Bisects it, so that's 45 degrees, and this is 45 degrees. And so how do we find one of the legs if I know the hypotenuse? Without doing any trig or anything, we have the special triangles. That's right, divided by the square root of 2. If we want to simplify it, it just kind of makes the math a little bit easier if we do that. So we multiply by square root of 2 over the square root of 2, and that gives us 16 square root of 2 over 2, and that's 8 square root of 2. So that side is 8 square root of 2. That's one of the sides. The question says find the perimeter. So what do we do with that number? Just take it, multiply it by 4, and so our perimeter is 32 square root of 2. Now, it's important that you know how to simplify those things, because what does the question say? It says write it for numbers 1 through 10, and that was number 10. Write your answer as exact answers. So 32 times the square root of 2 is an exact answer, okay? I'm not looking for a decimal there. I'm looking for square roots, and I'm looking for you to simplify the square root as well, all right? Because in Algebra 2, you're going to have to do that quite a bit. Who's taken Algebra 2? A couple of you guys. You do a lot of square root stuff in Algebra 2, so she made you guys simplify. Yeah, she made you simplify square roots and all that. Okay, good. All right, so enough of that. I'll get rid of that stuff. Bang. All right, let's go to number 11 now. Stuff's pretty easy. This stuff right here, isn't it? It's just trig functions, isn't it? So you got 42 degrees. You got this. What trig function are you going to use to find x?
Sine.
Adjacent.
No, cosine.
Over hypotenuse, which is the cosine. So it's the cosine of the angle, 42 degrees, is equal to the adjacent x over the hypotenuse, which is 12. Right? Multiply both sides by 12. I got to work something out where I have more room to do this, but anyway, this is as good as it's going to get for right now. So multiply that by 12, throw that into your calculator. I actually don't have a calculator on the computer yet. I don't want to take the time. But if you throw that into a calculator, I believe you get 8.9, looking at my answer key. So number 11 should be 8.9. All right? That's all there is to that, just regular trig function. This is regular trig function, except we're actually solving for the angle this time. So now, what did you say earlier? What trig function? This time it's opposite and hypotenuse. Which trig function is that? That's the sine. So we take the sine of the angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So on the calculator, just hit 6 over 11, hit the second function sine, and you should get around 33 degrees. It says round to the nearest degree. So that's what my answer key says. All right? It's pretty straightforward. Nothing real tricky about that at all, is there? No. All right, look at this one. It says, now this might be a little tricky for you. I don't know. I wish I had more room here to draw some stuff. What can I do?
copy and erase.
Because I don't have a lot of... Oh, I'll do it down here in this white spot down here. Okay, look. So this 24-foot ladder makes a 58-degree angle with the ground. So here's the ground, right? Now the ladder's not straight up against the wall, is it? It's leaning. Ladders don't usually go completely straight up, do they? It leans. Now that's not exactly 58, but it's good enough for us.
That's a big
All right. All right. So so if that's the ladder, this is the wall right here, and that's the ladder, and this is the ground. What's this angle? That's 58 degrees, right? Because it's 58-degree angle. Here's the ladder with the ground. Ladder, ground, 58 degrees. How many feet up a wall will it reach? So this is what I'm looking for right here, isn't it? So we'll call that X. What else did they tell you? 24-foot ladder, that's right. So they tell you that length right there is 24 feet. So we took a word problem, we just turned it into a regular right triangle with a, and now we can do some trig with this. All right, so we got this angle. Trying to find this side. This is opposite, this is hypotenuse. So that's the sine. So let's use the sine. So the sine of 58 is equal to opposite, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 24. Multiply both sides by 24. And let's see, what'd you get? 20.4? Does that look right? Okay, so x is 20.4. So that's how tall that wall is right there. It's 20.4, whatever it is, feet. We good with that? Again, I think that was pretty straightforward. Was there anything real tricky about that? I don't think so. This one might be a little bit. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get rid of this stuff. Alrighty. Well, good. I got some room. I can write down here. Maybe, yeah, I'll write down in here. A ship's sonar finds that the angle of depression to a wreck at the bottom of the ocean. Well, let's draw a picture. Here's the bottom of the ocean right there. And here's the ship up here, right? And this is the height, or the depth, however you want to look at it. So the ship is right here. This is the bottom of the ocean. This is how high above the floor of the ocean that the ship is. Follow me? It's just a dot for a ship. And it says the angle of depression to a wreck at the bottom of the ocean. So let's say the wreck at the bottom of the ocean is right there. So our ship is on top of the water. It's right here. It's looking down at an angle of depression of 13.2 degrees. It's not exactly drawn to scale, but we don't need it to be perfectly to scale. So the angle of depression, is that this angle right here? No, the angle of depression goes from the horizontal down, right? So that's 13.2. Remember, the angle of depression is the same thing as what? Which is this angle right here. So what's this angle? 13.2. Does that make sense? All right, it's not that big of a deal, is it? Now it says if a point on the ocean floor is 75 meters directly below the ship. Where's the ship? It's right here. Directly below the ship. How far below the ship? It's 75 meters. Everybody see that? If a point on the ocean, here it is. That's the point on the ocean directly below the ship is 75 meters, okay? Yes, directly below, which means it's those words indicate that it is perpendicular. How many meters is it from that point on the ocean floor? From where? From here to where? To the wreck. Here's the wreck right here. So we're trying to find that distance along the bottom. Everybody got that? So now I've got a right triangle. Look, our favorite trig function, isn't it? Opposite, I don't know if it's our favorite or not. I like it. It's opposite over adjacent. We use it quite a bit. It's tangent. So it's the tangent of 13.2 equals the opposite, which is 75, over the adjacent, which is x. Solve for x. Remember what we do with these? Just kind of change places. Put the x on the top, put the tan 13.2 on the bottom. So x is 75 divided by the tangent of 13.2. Chuck that into a calculator, and you should get 319.8. 319.8. I think it's meters, so you put meters. There you go. Round to the nearest tenth is to the nearest tenth. Everybody okay with that? All right. I may try to finish the rest of these tonight. I'll put it on YouTube. So just look on your YouTube page, and you'll see these reviews on there.